To keep the raw, represent everyone's you and I verse. We're gonna do a video on the full moon in Pisces and the influences on all signs. So keep in mind, this is all about your dream being actualized in reality. So let's get into the music first. This is the title track for Origins, MET 4-77. You dig? Tightrope, microscope, and the hose. Eyes closed, I open aspirations, dread to take form, intuition, attraction, separate dimension. Matter is foreign, never be foreseen, path is foreseen. Stay away to heaven, we elevate again. Open up fluoridated eyes, attempts at blocking sixth sense, calcification of a true life. This is my birthright, what I was born with, my essence, born to defeat the misconception. As to imitate, you don't get nada. Representation of myself is all perceptive perceptions. It's how one eye see it. Ask a God body, did you know he's nobody? Ask a God body, did you know he's nobody? It's how one eye see it. It's how one eye see it. Sunrise, gotta get it again. Verse 24 to May. Aurora borealis, paleophilosophy. Remember what you was meant for. Born from four circles, originally a spirit. Forming all around, repeated again. Crystal clear, eyes sitting on top of foreheads. More religious, angelus. Stars in the sky, but the sky's the limit. Stilo, I know. In the sky, possibly beside, immortal I be. Ask a God body, did you know he's nobody? Ask a God body, did you know he's nobody? The sight of God's memory, I'm walking a tightrope. Underneath the microscope, I begin to end the destitution. Common man place to solve the space. Time didn't exist until you let it. I'ma need some letters to cope this, the rhetoric. Watch yourself, vision of three. Third person know another, so they know I can see. System, a corruption. Let it pierce through your ear and conundrum. No less, knowledge in abundance. Millions on the table in stables. Water in the moon, invariantly shift the earth through the seven seas. Flow evolve, never eroding. We encoded what it's like. Do you need me to reappear again? Say begin, but my soul is infinite. Solar eclipse when the artificial moon steady drift. Plexus everywhere where you belong. The time is a bliss, reality Aquarius. What this moment is. Either now in carved carcasses, watching moonwalk. We've been stressing too long. You never ever got something wrong, but you tripping in your head about past and future creation. What is this to you? Everything, yeah, this is for you. Get out and create. Get out and create every day. Get out and create every day. So yeah, that's the full moon being we got the full moon being in Pisces, and that song is called MET 4-7, and that's the intro track to the Origins album. You dig what I'm saying? And we're gonna go ahead and break down all the influences, all of the signs. Before we get into that, I'm gonna go ahead and break down what this full moon is all about. This full moon is essentially a full accumulation of your dreams, illusions, and nightmares being actualized into reality. So whatever you've been putting energy into and whatever you've been working towards based on the dream that you want to achieve, at this point in time, you either feel satisfied or unsatisfied with that. And if you're kind of feeling unsatisfied, you want to see what you need to shed during this waning process. So essentially the new moon brings in new accumulations. We've accumulated new things, and whenever we hit this full moon, you're able to see, okay, am I satisfied or unsatisfied with what I've accumulated? Well, whatever you have accumulated, keep in mind during the waning process, you're going to be in a space where I need to do more protection circumstance situations to actually be in a more beneficial state, you know what I'm saying, so I can hold on to what I've accumulated and not kind of lose that to the wayside. And then keep in mind with the sun in Virgo, you know what I'm saying, it's going to bring the actual details and realization of these dreams based on it being that 180-degree angle. That's what creates this full moon. You dig what I'm saying? So essentially, you want to keep your mind on the right space to be like, okay, this is the dream that I've actually wanted to take part in, and this is actually the higher octave, and I feel comfortable and satisfied with what I'm fulfilling, you know what I'm saying? Or you're in this unfulfilled state. So keep in mind, you don't want to do something erratic to a point where it kind of like tips the cup over. Look at it like the cup was empty whenever you had the new moon, right, occur, being in Virgo. And then when it went through every moon sign and moon phase, you know what I'm saying, to a point where we was at the first quarter phase, being a Sagittarius, you know what I'm saying? So you got the first quarter of whatever you were accumulating. So think about the cup as like a quarter of the way full, you know what I'm saying? So like actually how you break it down is like the cup is kind of like halfway filled, really. Because like you can look at the first quarter being, you know what I'm saying, the third moon sign into the new moon, and then whenever it hits that sixth moon sign, you dig what I'm saying, it has that 180-degree angle. So essentially we're like halfway, you know what I'm saying, through the whole accumulation of that moon phase, you know what I'm saying, or this actual sun being in Virgo, right? And then the third quarter is whenever we begin to wane, we have the moon being in Gemini, right? And then whenever the moon comes back to Virgo, then the cup is, you know what I'm saying, empty again, and it's fully waned. So like keep that in mind. Whenever you have the first quarter, I'm saying, you're able to see like, okay, what have I actually accumulated, and have I learned from everything I need to learn from, and if I have accumulated the actual beneficial things to keep myself in the right space, you know what I'm saying? Then whenever you have the full moon, you're like, okay, I was on the right path and I'm fully fulfilled. And then I also need to, you know what I'm saying, wane or remove or protect whatever I have going on, you know what I'm saying, based on what I've fulfilled. So whenever the moon hits Gemini, we're going to be in the space that, okay, I've learned and I am learning how to be more communicative and be more associative with what I'm actually bringing to my life in this harvest realm, you know what I'm saying? Because keep in mind, Virgo is the harvest. So then whenever it hits the new moon again, you know what I'm saying, we're going to be in the Libra season. So that's kind of how that works. Then we're going to go ahead, we're going to go ahead and break down all the first to the 12th house, right? Starting with Pisces, first house and ascendant. But an individual said it kind of lost him. So to make it more a little bit more understandable, we have the new moon that occurs in Virgo. Think of it like the cup is empty, right? And then the first quarter is like halfway filling the cup, you know what I'm saying? Being a Sagittarius. Then whenever we hit the full moon, the cup is full, being in Pisces, right? Then whenever we hit the third quarter square, you know what I'm saying? Think about the full moon as the second quarter, right? And then the third quarter square is whenever we hit the moon in Gemini, and the cup is kind of halfway empty now. And then whenever the cup is fully emptied and you fully waned from that full accumulation circumstance situation, then we're back into that Virgo space, and then that's when we have that balsamic phase to then go into Libra season. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, just breaking it down twice for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Individual said I lost him, but you know what I'm saying, kind of made it a little bit more simple. So let me know if you got that. But yeah, we have the Pisces, you know what I'm saying, having the first house being in the full moon, the full moon being in the first house for Pisces, rising and ascendant, and that's fulfilled personal dreams. So your personal dreams and illusions are actualized, and you're essentially accepting one circumstance situation to a point where it's like, okay, this is what I fulfilled, and this is what I've accumulated, so I need to kind of accept that based on it being in the first house. Excuse me. And then the second house is, Aquarius, first house, rising and ascendant, is having the Pisces in the second house. And keep in mind, for the Pisces rising, essentially you just want to protect your personal dreams, illusions, and nightmares. Protect oneself to a point where it's like, okay, what I got going on in my personal life is separate from everybody else. But if I actually am able to bring this dream to reality in my personal life, I want to go ahead and protect that over the next 2 weeks, right? You're going to be able to see, do I have good seeds or bad seeds based on my personal life? So essentially you're fulfilled in your personal life or unfulfilled, right? Or your private affairs. Kind of like individual affairs, so to speak. That's a better way to put it, because private is more of your fourth house. But yeah, get into it. The Aquarius, first house, rising and ascendant, is having the Pisces in the second house. And keep in mind, the second house is all about your values of a person, place, thing, or idea. So essentially, you're fulfilled in the places that you go to. The places that you are, visiting, they're fulfilling you, right? And you actually had that dream that you were a part of, you can actually take part in that, right? And then the people that you're around, they're actually also fulfilling your dream. They have kind of an alike dream to a point where it's like you can actually build with each other and see, oh, dang, we actually have fulfilled everything. You know what I'm saying, I'm satisfied with the people I'm around. And then also the ideas that you have, like the ideas that you're utilizing, like your values for, aka your money for, you're fulfilled with that. It's like, okay, I've actually had the proper ideas to then in turn put myself in a beneficial state based on my values or my money and things like that. And then Capricorn, first house, rising and ascendant, is having the third house being in Pisces. And keep in mind, the third house is all about your environment, right? So you're fulfilled with your dreams and your environment, or the neighbors that you're around, they actually can take part in that dream. And it's like, Dag, I actually dreamt about being in this neighborhood for a long time. Or like, you maybe got this house that you were working towards and you wanted to be in this space. So like maybe 6 months ago, you were like, wow, I want to live there. And now you're actually in that fulfilled state to a point where you're actually living in that neighborhood that you wanted to take part of. That's a perfect example for Capricorn in the third house. Pardon me, Capricorn rising, having Pisces in the third house. So the Capricorn was able to see that opportunity and took that opportunity, and now they're fulfilled in their environment because they're where they want to be, right? Or you're kind of unfulfilled to a point where it's like the environment that you're taking part of, you're still in that lower octave state where it's like, dag, I'm unfulfilled and I don't actually appreciate where I'm at and my environment doesn't actually benefit me. This dream that I have is actually an illusion. So like you're in this illusion space in your environment. This is actually not where you want to be. And essentially you want to go ahead and shed that. And whenever the Libra comes around, Libra new moon, you kind of want to accumulate new things, right? And then we have the Sagittarius, first house, rising and ascendant, which is having the Pisces in the fourth house. And keep in mind, the fourth house is all about your private matters, your home, and also what's close to your heart. So keep in mind, the Sagittarius is one of those mutable signs that I was mentioning earlier in the previous video. So like, just to get back to it, the Sagittarius, the Gemini, and the Virgo are all going to be the three signs that are hit pretty hard, as well as Pisces. So Pisces is going to be feeling it in their personal life, but the Sagittarius is going to be feeling it in their home or their private life, right? And then Gemini is going to be feeling it more in their status, right? And Virgo is going to be feeling it in their relations. So it's like, based on those circumstance situations, this aspect is going to be a little bit harder on those mutable signs. And kind of like, you look at the cardinal signs, they can kind of kick back and see, all right, this is a more of a beneficial space. Because it's like, you look at the Capricorn, they're a sextile to the Pisces. You look at the Cancer, they're actually a trine to the Pisces. And then you look at the Libra, they're right beside, in conjunction. It's like, oh, I could see it one way or I could see it another way, but you're kind of creating this balance at this point in time. So it's like kind of out of your realm and reality. It's like you're kind of just that routine and pattern that you're already taking part in. You're already having that circumstance situation be played out based on it being in your sixth house, right? And I'm kind of breaking down all the signs right now in a different kind of way. But if you look at it in this aspect, like the mutable signs are going to be hit the hardest. The cardinal signs are going to be in a more like space where they can kind of kick back and relax and kind of just like eat popcorn, so to speak, and like watch the play, you mean? And like have a front row seat to everything. And finishing up, I'm saying on that cardinal circumstance situation, Aries is going to have it in the 12th house. So it's going to be in this space where it's like, I have this illusion or I have this faith about what I got going on, and I'm able to see, okay, is my dream, illusion, and nightmare coming to reality? Is this faith actually something that I can actually continue to work on, so to speak? And the fixed signs are going to be in a space where they're more of like an opportunity. So like you see the opportunity if you're a Taurus, right? So the Tauruses are able to kind of kick back and be like, all right, this is what I was working on, and this dream that I've been working towards is actually more beneficial, you know what I'm saying? But let's get back to the houses, right? So like I was breaking down, Sagittarius, first house, rising and ascendant, is having the fourth house being in Pisces. And keep in mind, like I say, the fourth house is all about your private matters, your home, and what's close to your heart. So the Sagittarius has to learn to be more private about their dreams and realize that it's either I'm satisfied with my dream and I can actually, keep this aspect of my home and kind of protect that. So it's like if you've accumulated a relationship and you're in a space that you actually can keep this in-home circumstance situation and kind of keep your issues in the home, and that's actually more of a higher octave space to be in for the Sagittarius. But if you're in a space where you're uncomfortable in your home and things like that, then you realize that maybe I need to learn how to be more private and learn to be more with my heart on my sleeve and like actually express myself to put myself in a beneficial state with how I've dreamt about what I want to have in my home and things of that nature. Moving forward, the Scorpio, first house, rising and ascendant, is having the fifth house being in Pisces. And keep in mind, the fifth house is all about your expression, right? So Scorpio is all about the internal passion. So they're having the gift to have an internal passion about the dream, illusion, and nightmare they're a part of, right? So they're satisfied in this expression of a dream. And this dream is actually coming to reality. So essentially, these associates that they're working with, they can see the actual dream be accumulated, and they can go ahead and express this internal passion that they have in their personal life, and it's, you know what I'm saying, bringing full satisfaction, right? Or if you're unsatisfied or unfulfilled with your fifth house, it's like whatever you're going on to express, this isn't what you dreamt about. This isn't what you actually wanted to bring into your life and things of that nature. So essentially, you want to see, what do I need to remove or wane from based on my my expression. Whenever we have the waning process. So essentially, you want to kind of just chill out right now for the next 2.5 days. But whenever this kind of passes, you want to see, whenever the moon goes into Aries, what do I need to go to war about, so to speak? What do I need to be a warrior about to actually put myself in a more higher octave space? And what do I need to remove? You see what I'm saying? So moving forward, the Libra first house rising and ascendant is having the sixth house being in Pisces and left field. But if y'all are kind of watching at this point in time, and you kind of watching later in the video, or like later on in the day, let me know, because my YouTube algorithm said like this is a perfect time to go ahead and go live. This is when most of my viewers are actually on YouTube. But it seems like whenever I go live earlier in the evening, later on in the evening, it seems to be more people tap in. So like whenever you watch this video, go ahead and let me know in the comments when you actually get on YouTube and things like that, and when you kind of get to watching videos. So like go ahead and let me know. Yeah, like I was saying, getting back to the Libra first house rising and ascendant, having the sixth house being in Pisces. Keep in mind, this is in conjunction, like I was mentioning earlier, or a misunderstanding. So the Libra either is satisfied or unsatisfied in their dreams of a routine. So it's like this routine and pattern that you're a part of. Is this something that you dreamt about? And this is like actually a schedule that you wanted to work towards having and things of that nature. So it's like maybe if you worked in the evening 6 months ago, now you're in a space that you can actually work in the daytime and see more benefits from that. So it's like you're satisfied in your work routine and pattern and what you're working on. Then moving forward, the Virgo first house rising ascendant is having the seventh house being in Pisces, and the seventh house is all about your relations and relationships. So essentially, you're satisfied in your dreams of a relation or relationship, or you're unsatisfied. So it's like this was kind of an illusion. You kind of were shooting for the stars too much, and it's kind of unrealistic, so to speak. But it's not bad to do that. Essentially, you want to go ahead and have a dream and go ahead and reach for that dream. But it's like whatever you have actually accumulated, now at this point in time, you want to go ahead and protect what you do have. You know what I'm saying? And if you're kind of unsatisfied with those relations or relationships, see what aspect of one's personal life you need to shed to actually put yourself in more beneficial relationships, right? And the Leo, first house rising and ascendant, is having the eighth house being in Pisces, and the eighth house is all about your internal passions, your behind the scenes circumstance, I'm saying your transformation and your rebirth. So whatever the Leo wanted to transform about oneself 6 months ago, now you've actually accumulated this transformation, and you're satisfied in your internal passions, and your this dream that you had about how you could transform oneself and all the shadow work that you've been doing. Now you're satisfied with that, and it's like, wow, I've came a long way. And that's being on the higher octave for the Leo. Or if you're on the lower octave, you kind of transform for the bad, and you kind of rebirth the circumstance situation to a point where it's like, dag, I'm not actually achieving what I had 6 months ago a dream about. And now I'm in a space that I need to actually see, what have I accumulated, and what can I actually protect, but what do I also need to get rid of to put myself in a more beneficial state. So it's like you got to do that shadow work and look internally and see, okay, what aspect of oneself do I need to get rid of, and this internal passion that I have, is it actually kind of like an illusion, or is this actually a dream that can be actualized? You know what I'm saying? So then moving forward, the Cancer first house rising and ascendant is having the ninth house being in Pisces, and the ninth house is all about your experience, your morality, and also your travel. So essentially the Cancer has traveled to a space internally or externally. Like internally would be like you're able to actually think properly and you have clear thoughts at this point in time, and you're satisfied in this dream that you have an experience in. So it's like your experience that you wanted to take part in, or this aspect of your travel. Like say you were living in the East Coast and you always wanted to travel to the West Coast. Now, since this full moon has occurred, you've actually gone through the new moon and you've actually traveled to those spaces. You know what I'm saying? Maybe whenever the moon was in Sagittarius, you actually were able to learn how to travel to that space that you wanted to go to. And now you've brought that knowledge and wisdom and accumulation back, and you're able to say like, yeah, I'm actually satisfied with my experience. Or you're in a space on that lower octave where you're unsatisfied or unfulfilled, with what your experience, to a point where it's like, dag, I had dreams about going and traveling to these certain spaces, but I didn't actually have the proper accumulations to actually bring that to reality. So essentially, you want to see, okay, based on this experience that I have experienced and what I have learned at this point in time, what do I need to protect? This knowledge and wisdom that I do have, how could I actually continue to keep that to benefit oneself more over time? Or and also you need to see what is the certain ways that I've gone about my experience that have kind of blocked me from being able to get where I want to be at. I'm saying. Then moving forward, the Gemini first house rising ascendant, like I said, Gemini is another one of those signs that are hit hard at this point in time. So keep in mind the 10th house is all about your status, your blueprint, and your career. And it's also what you need to stand on business on. So like whatever you're having going on in your business at this point in time, you had a dream about this status. And you were like, wow, I want to be known for this. And this is my certain career that I wanted to take part in. And you're actually a part of that career on the hierarchy at this point in time, and you're satisfied in that career. Or you're still a part of this previous status to a point where you actually seen it, okay, maybe this was a bit of an illusionary space, and this status that I'm a part of, it actually isn't something that I dreamt about. It's like I'm where I'm at, and I'm known for what I'm known for, but nothing really changed. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of that lower octave for the Gemini. And keep in mind, the Gemini is always adapting to circumstance situations. So maybe you want to take more charge and utilize your power to actually put yourself in a more beneficial state to have a beneficial status. So whatever you actually have accumulated, you want to go ahead and accept that at this point in time and say, okay, I am in a space where I've accumulated certain circumstances, but what do I actually need to remove from my life? What do I need to wane from based on this waning process to put myself in a more beneficial state, in a more beneficial status whenever we have this 10th house alignment come back around, you know what I'm saying? So like next year, where do you see yourself being, and like what do you actually need to remove in your life? And over these next 2 weeks, you want to kind of keep a close eye on these certain moon phases and wherever the moon moves to, and see how do they actually correlate to what you're known for. You know what I'm saying? And so, for example, whenever the moon goes into your 11th house, whenever the moon goes into Aries, it's like, what do I need to actually go to war about to put myself in a more beneficial state? You know what I'm saying? What do I see? Where could I go with this? And where could I see myself going whenever we have this, you know what I'm saying, new moon in Libra? Like, what do I actually want to relate to and see that aspect? And then whenever the moon goes into the full part, excuse me, whenever the full moon occurs being in Aries for the Libra season, the moon is your reaction and responses. You want to look at the moon as like, okay, you could look at it. Magical Mermaid had a question. She said, is the moon a magnet in our life? In a way it is. Like it's like what you feel comfortable to and like what you kind of attract, so to speak. So keep in mind your moon sign is like the signs and the people that you're like generally going to be most comfortable with, so to speak. So it kind of is like a magnet in a certain kind of way, but it's not like an actual magnet. It's like a metaphor, you know what I'm saying? It's like referring to it not as an actual thing, but like kind of like a state of mind, so to speak. So like, yeah, it is kind of in a way. But yeah, getting back to where I was at, the Gemini first house rising ascendant, either you're satisfied or unsatisfied with your status at this point in time and what you're known for. Then moving forward, the Taurus first house rising ascendant is having the 11th house being in Pisces, and keep in mind, excuse me, the 11th house to the first house is a sext house. So the Taurus is able to see the opportunity in what they're actually a part of and what they're working on, and they can actually see what can I stay consistent on and how am I satisfied with these associations. So it's like you're a part of this certain group that has associated dreams. So you're satisfied in the associated dreams or associative dreams, or like your public persona, so to speak. So like what you wanted to be a part of group-wise, you had a dream about this, and you were like, dang, I want to be a part of this group, and I want to be kind of like known for this in a certain kind of way. The 10th and the 11th house are kind of hand in hand. Like the 10th house is your status, I'm saying your career, but the 11th house is like your public persona, or your persona on the internet, so to speak, or like the group that you're a part of. So it's like kind of like your culture, so to speak. So the Taurus is either satisfied in the certain aspect of their association, or they're unsatisfied in the certain association. So it's like these associates they're a part of, do they have the same kind of dreams And can you actually come together to actually achieve that dream together, so to speak? You know what I'm saying? And think about it this way. You're 6 months ago, you had a certain dream about like, dag, I want to be a part of this group of people, or I want to be a part of this culture and kind of learn more about this culture. Like, so to speak, maybe if you're in America, you wanted to learn more about like the Latin American culture, you know what I'm saying, and learn more Spanish, so to speak. So like this certain group that you're a part of, you wanted to learn how to be more a part of another group, so to speak. You're able to see that opportunity. Okay, if I learn more about this culture, I could actually expand my circumstance situation and be a part of a bigger group. You know what I'm saying? And that would be that higher octave. You're satisfied and you're like, okay, I've come a long way. And this certain group that I'm a part of is expanded, so to speak. And last but not least, the Aries first house rising and ascendant is having the 12th house being in Pisces. And keep in mind, for the Aries, the 12th house being in Pisces is like this illusionary or this faith-based state. So it's like whatever you have faith in, it's actually coming to reality. You can actually see you working on that routine and pattern. I actually haven't heard of third base, but you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and leave a little link to their circumstance situation in the comments. And yeah, let me know why you kind of brought that up. But yeah, shout out to them, you dig? But yeah, getting back to the point, the 12th house, like I say, being in Pisces for the Aries, is your dreams, illusions, and nightmares coming to reality. So it's like, wow, like I was kind of in a space where I didn't have actual faith in my circumstance situation, but now I have full accumulations and I feel satisfied with this dream that I'm a part of because I can actually see it being actualized in reality. Or if you're on that lower octave, you realize, okay, this dream that I was a part of is kind of like a false belief, so to speak, and it's kind of non-beneficial at this point in time. And you're seeing, okay, what aspect of my dream do I actually need to wane from, or do I need to remove from my life to actually put myself in a beneficial dream, so to speak? So yeah, peace and love. If you believe in all that, go ahead and hit me in the comments. You know what I'm saying, let me know what rising sign you are, what aspect of life, and what house that you have Pisces are participating in. I'm going to read this comment. She said it's a 90s second popular white rap group next to the Beastie Boys. Yeah, shout out to the Beastie Boys. I just don't happen to know third base. You know what I'm saying? My fault. But yeah, like I said, go ahead and drop a like whenever you get to this point in the video, or at any point in time. I'm very grateful. Thank you all for watching the live video, and thank you for watching after the fact. You know what I'm saying, if you're watching the recording. And like I said, peace and love. If you believe in all that, and go ahead and hit me in the email if you had any kind of questions, or if you wanted to get any kind of reading and things of that nature. And then with that being said, you could also hit me in the Cash App, support the movement you need, be in tune with, you dig, at CONSCIOUS1347. If you wanted to learn how to spell that again, you know what I'm saying, it's my about whenever you click on my channel. So you click on my channel and go to the about section, and that Cash App is there. And then my email is actually also in the description, you know what I'm saying? So if you had any kind of question, go ahead and hit me in the email, and also leave a comment, you know what I'm saying? Let me know what aspect of life you have the full moon in Pisces participating in, you know what I'm saying? So peace and love. If you believe in all that, I salute all y'all. Thank you.